So
Yeah.
welcome, Yvonne.
Thank you. And
Yes.
just to let people know, I'm going to be saying LB, and that goes back to our Philip Consulting days. So there was this thing in Philip's Consulting. We didn't call anybody ma or auntie or this, but we had to respect them. So we called them by their initials. So we had FOP, LB.
Yes, yes. Yvonne, I'm trying to make you a host.
I
share.
No, I'm not sharing anything, so it's okay.
Okay. Fantastic. No, well, you didn't even get the story right. What it was that in Philips, everybody called everybody by name. And
Yes.
when I came in, right, Yemika and Oyebola and people like that, I don't know whether they found out about me and found out my age, and they said, we can't call you Lamide, so we're going to call you LB, you know, because the only other person that was initial was FOP, the man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
gosh, now I know the full story. All I knew was that I just came in and I followed culture. It's LB. We're calling her LB.
What it was just that, you know, they just decided that, they can't call her LB. Let them just respect themselves. Now, Yvonne, I don't want to waste too much time, but I'm looking for your bio, and I'm just thinking to myself, maybe I should let you tell us.
Oh gosh. Check on your WhatsApp.
I warned you though, didn't I warn you?
Yeah, you can check on your WhatsApp, you find it.
Oh, I'm checking. I can't find it. I'm not stressing myself, Yvonne. I warned you, so you have to tell us about yourself, please.
Okay. I'll tell you about myself in the way that LB would not have told, which is a little bit different from my bio, you know, so you get a little bit of a different perspective. The long and short of my bio is that it says I'm a change strategist and a change leadership advocate.
Yeah, out of this room.
Oh, there's somebody that is not on mute.
I'm going to mute.
So I'm a change strategist and a change leadership advocate.
Sorry, I muted you as well. Can you unmute, Yvonne?
Yes.
Okay.
I have worked globally by the grace of God. I started off my career as a business analyst. I went into project management, went into management consulting, and went into change management. So my career spans over 20 years, where I have been doing this thing, you know, and a little bit, I've worked in England, I've worked in Nigeria with Philips Consulting, I now live in Canada and work in Canada. So when it comes to consistently having to reinvent yourself and reposition yourself for new markets and new industries, that's something that I want to say I have had the opportunity to do, although it didn't feel like an opportunity then. It felt like work. But, you know, I've had the opportunity to do that, worked with companies like JP Morgan Chase, Deloitte and Touche, the biggest banks here in Canada, Royal Bank of Canada. So done all of that. You know, my passion right now is really leading change, helping organizations and professionals to lead and drive change in all of what they need to do and to position themselves and reinvent themselves. So I think that's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
Does that work?
It does work, because, you know, that's why you're going to be exciting to listen to, because, you know, for some of the people on the call, they just want to know, I've been there, done that. What is next to do? What else to do? And just the fact that you have worked all over the place and had to reinvent yourself and had to, you know, align with current realities, just like we're all having to align with these current realities.
Yes.
So shoot, Yvonne.
Yes, so, and that's what I'm going to share with everybody today. My talk is going to really be titled, How to Position Yourself in the Future of Work. So I do have some notes I'm going to be following. So if you guys ever see me looking up a little bit, that just means that I am looking at my notes. So you're going to have to forgive me on that one. So today I want to talk about how to position yourself for now the future of work. So I like the session to be interactive. So anybody in the listening now, who's familiar with the term future of work? So if you're familiar with the term future of work, even if you don't know what it means, but you've heard the term future of work, just type it in the chat. I want to I want to get to know you guys a little bit. So if you've heard future of work, me, okay, I love that. Thank you, Sanya Day. Who else has heard it? If you've not heard it, just say no, not heard it. I want to get a feel for the room, and I want to get a sense that you are engaged. Abiola, me, yes, yes. So I'm hearing yes, yes. Okay, awesome. Chinyere, yes, thank you, thank you. So the future of work, I'm going to define it because I had to take a step back and say, what is this future of work, Seth? What does it all mean? And future of work is essentially that how we do work, what tools we're using to do the work, where we work, and how the jobs are changing are all being driven by advanced technologies such as AI and robotics and fourth industrial revolution. So it is how AI, robotics, fourth industrial revolution technologies like 3D technology, all of those things are shaping the way we work, how we turn up at work, and where it is that we're working, and the type of jobs that it is that we're doing. And what the pandemic has suddenly done is accelerated the future of work. So before we used to say the future of work is changing, how we're going to be doing things is changing. Then what happens? Boom, the pandemic came. And when the pandemic came, the pandemic just accelerated it full speed. Organizations that were thinking about, oh, how will we use AI? How would we introduce AI? How will we do robotics so that people are comfortable with it? All of a sudden, we're introducing AI. All of a sudden, we're doing all those things that we didn't think, that we were still wondering if we're going to do. All of a sudden, even remote working, and I'm sure you experienced that in Nigeria, because I knew a few people who experienced it, where the organization would say, work from home. How can you work from home? You have to come into the office. All of a sudden, they're accepting that you can work from home. So remote working is now becoming a reality. Look at us on Zoom. LB, even if you wanted me to talk before, would you have invited me? It's like, she's in Canada, or I'm doing this thing in Nigeria. So nothing. And all you'd be saying is, hi, I wish you were in Nigeria. Sure, you'd have had this talk. But all of a sudden, we're doing this talk. So that's what the future of work is doing again for us, is creating global opportunities. Even before that, there were some people that were ahead of the future of work. They were already changing the way they work. They were already taking advantage of the internet and technology. Some people were already using AI. They were ahead of the curve. So we that were not doing those things, we're catching up. We're playing catch up to the future of work. And what I wanted us to do today is start to think about, what does that mean for us? One of the key things that it means for us is that when we say what we do or the types of jobs we have, before you could see that a great example of the future of work is AI, how AI has changed things. Before, cancer patients, if they went in for an X-ray or they went in for a scan to do something, that scan will take about 4 or 5 days, to be able to read that scan, to be able to give them results. All of a sudden, we have these new technologies like AI, and that scan takes hours to read. What does that mean for the clinician? What does that mean for the X-ray expert who spent how many years studying how to read X-rays and all of those kind of things? It meant suddenly they have to refocus where it is they put their energies and work. And that's again what future of work means. It now means that we're no more focused on things that are very technical focused. We're now focused on non-technical skills. So the future of work is talking about new non-technical skills that become important. Things like emotional intelligence, creativity, negotiation, leadership. All of those things are now the new norms in terms of what you will use to differentiate yourself in the new future of work. And those are the kind of things that we need to think about. AI can go and quickly do accounting that somebody spent years and I don't mean to offend anybody on this call, but if before you used to carry shoulder like I'm an accountant, hey, future of work is changing that, because the time you can do all that calculation and start to look for trends and reporting and financial analysis. The AI can begin to do those things. So what you have to do is that, how do you elevate yourself with that knowledge in your career? Say, yes, I have these accounting technical skills, but what are the soft skills that I had. When they're choosing, and we've always said this in HR, and it's one of the messages that at least LB we used to preach before, because we used to do this. It's not the technical skills you recruit people for, but you recruit them for their attitude and their behavior and their non-technical skills. If that was important, it's accelerated now. It is ever more important, because anybody can do the technical skills. What they're saying is that, how can you move my organization forward? How can you stand apart? How can you make me any different? Those are the kind of things that are really important that will help us stand out. And I just I'm going to talk a little bit about that. The fact is, I talked about the accelerated future of work. I mentioned that, and the now future of work. What that essentially means is, like I said, is we were talking about the future of work, and we still talk about it as if it's something in the future, because we say future of work. But what we're realizing now is that it's accelerated, and it's now because of the pandemic. The pandemic has created what we call a new normal. And in that new normal, all of a sudden we're doing things in a different way, and we're positioning ourselves in a different way. And the pandemic has made it a reality. But you know what? What we're going through right now feels new. The pandemic feels new and how it's disrupted, but it is not new. Years and years ago, people have gone through pandemics. We may not have experienced it, but what we're also experiencing is just a disruption. So the fallout of the pandemic is not new. Yes, the coronavirus is novel, it's new, we've not experienced it before, but the fallout of the pandemic is not new at all. Lost jobs, disruption, new ways of doing things. All of those things are a normal cycle of life. And the question is how you reinvent yourself. I remember this story. I remember finishing out from university. This was in the UK. I got to finish university. I'd come out. I say, hey, I was also like, yes, I'm ready to conquer and take on the world. I'm going to get this new job. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. You know, I remember that I'll see some people who were consulting or contracting, as it is. They were independent consultants. And I'll say, why are you doing that? To me, I want to get into a permanent job. I want to get the benefits. I want them to take care. I don't want all these topsy-turvy temp consulting jobs. You know, all of that. I had this idea and image of who and what I wanted to be. As God would have it, after a lot of hustling, you know, I got into that, my perfect job. You know, I took one job here or there that may not have been what I wanted, but that's again, don't despise the times of small beginnings. Because I remember taking, and I'll tell you the story, is I coming out of university while I was looking for that, my perfect job in terms of what I studied. I remember taking this job in this new center that was called e-commerce. We didn't even know what e-commerce was then. They were talking about e-commerce. It was the .com boom. You know, the .com boom was kind of starting to bubble up. So I got this job. I said, it's not what I want to do, but I need to pay the bills. I took the job. Then soon after I got my, you know, proper job, I went there, I got made redundant while I was at the job. There was a merger and acquisition. They bought the company I was, it was .com boom. They had moved to Scotland. So if anybody is familiar with the world geography, there I was in England, and this company in Scotland had bought this London company. Me, Seb, at that point in time, honestly, that was an awakening for me, because my eyes had not opened to be able to read the writing on the wall. And in case I don't say it again, I need you guys to write it. Trends, be focused on trends, have the ability to be able to see trends, and read the writing on the wall. So at that time, I didn't even read the writing on the wall, even inside me. My Oga that was working there had found a new job, and somebody else in the department had moved into another role. On that person had left. So we're a team of like 4. All of them had moved. Me, I was still there, feeling very cool with myself, they'll say, oh, come to Scotland. I didn't realize, look, Scotland even has exactly the same job, exactly the same kind of office as I was working in London. So what did I think was going to do? They will keep 2 departments that are doing the same thing running. Before I knew it, I got called into this office and said, oh, sorry, this. They were speaking English. We're going to have to let you go. This. I was like, I just kept quiet. I was keeping quiet. Then they said, do you have anything to say? Oh, LB, in my most Nigerian accent, I just said, what do you want me to say? Like, like really. But that was an awakening for me to say that nothing is permanent. So I share that story to tell you that the dot-com boom was at a point where technology, like we're talking about the future of work, was changing jobs. Did we know what internet was? Did we know what e-commerce was? Did we know, did we know what it was, the global opportunities that would come out of it? You could buy online. That was when you started to buy online. You could make phone calls online. You could now start to access things online. So that kind of changed the bubble. And it's what we're experiencing now with the future of work, with all of these technologies like AI, robotics, and 3D, all of those things. It's all changing the work and the way in which we do things. So the question is that, are we positioning ourselves for the future of work? There's increased use of technology. The pandemic has accelerated the future of work and created for us a new normal. Social media is dominating like anything. What's it called? While the future of work is eliminating jobs, AI and robotics are eliminating jobs. Guess what is happening? There are new types of jobs. So yes, you might have heard this thing is AI taking away our jobs. If you Google it, you find things like that. AI is taking our jobs. Robots are taking our jobs. Yes, they are taking, but there are new types of jobs. Just to give you one simple, small example of a new type of job, there are jobs right now on how you train AI and robotics, because this AI and robotics need to be trained. So there are new types of jobs, because this AI and robotics cannot do everything. It's just going to be creating a new type of jobs. And so that's why it's important that you pay attention to trends. You see how your industry is being affected by these trends. You see what's most important. Organizations before, they were looking at social media as in, social media is just a small thing. But like Ijoma was saying earlier, not having a social media profile is like, you can be doing all the work, but you're not putting yourself out there. It's almost like that scripture that says, a lamp cannot be hidden and it has to be put at the top of a hill. As a light, you have to shine. So social media is what will help you to shine. So just to add to that, and even though I'm saying that there are more new jobs as a result of AI and robotics, the pandemics, unfortunately, my heart goes out to people who may be experiencing this. The pandemics has created less jobs. Some jobs have become redundant. Some jobs are no longer of value. Offices have closed, retail outlets have closed. What the pandemic did was not necessarily just eliminate those, it eliminated those people that were not positioned to succeed. So here we have organizations and retail organizations that closed down. And some of them will be first to admit we were struggling before the pandemic. And what the pandemic did was just wipe us out. It was so amazing that when the pandemic hit and there was lockdown, there were some things I wanted to buy online. And some organizations did not have an online presence. I'm like, how can you not have an online presence? How can you not have an e-commerce store in this day and age? So that's what you need to think about yourself, that as the world is evolving and skills are changing and we're beginning to do things in a different way, my question to you is that, are you evolving? Are you changing? Are you positioning yourselves in a way that will make you relevant as we move forward? Or you say, this is me, take it or leave it? Well, there's always an option, take it or leave it. The option will be to leave it, So a few tips I want to share with you in terms of how you position yourself and stand out. I've said, know the trends, be conscious to the trends, and know what is happening. Another tip that I'm not going to go into detail is stand out with your personal brand. Because that's what's going to set you apart. So Ijoma already went into personal branding. Even if you are not, you don't have your business and you're thinking, I don't need a personal brand because I don't have a business. Even as an individual, you need to stand out with your personal brand. You need to be seen as a thought leader. Even if in accounting, what's going to set you apart? If you're writing articles in terms of, how organizations can change themselves, organize themselves, how they can secure a financial future. When they're looking to recruit you, what are they going to do? They're going to say, let's recruit somebody that, can bring all this knowledge that they are sharing into our organization. So don't think it's only for if you have a business to stand out with a personal brand. You can also stand out individually with your personal brand. The next thing I want to say is you get out of your comfort zone. and be bold. Get out of your comfort zone and be bold in terms of what it is that you want to do. When I say be bold, is that it's not going to happen for you just sitting where you are. I said earlier, I had moved from different countries and I had to invent myself. So I remember having to work here in Canada. I had to start up this company, which was conferences and events. Oh Lord, the story through that is for another day, you know. But I was here having to start this thing up, and I was like, hey, if I was in Nigeria, I'll have connections, you know, to be able to do some of these things. Then I said, what about the people that don't have connections in Nigeria? You're saying if I was in Nigeria, because, you know, connections is your network. They say your network is your net worth, you know, or your net worth is your network, you know, type of thing. So if I know, if you schooled in Nigeria, because I did a major part of my schooling in Nigeria. So I, you know, if I was there, at least maybe somebody I went to school together that was sleeping on the bunk with me, I'll be able to go and say, please, yeah, I want to be able to do this. Can you do this for me? How can you help me? But now here I am in Canada. I'm not even in the UK where I went to university, and at least people there, I can call on people I went to university with. I'm now in Canada where I did not school at all. So I'm starting something new or different. And I had to get to a place where I started to even read books. And to me, I don't like rejection. So I remember going to get this book called Rejection Proof, to read it, to say, how do I go and knock on doors? And even if they tell me no, I will still keep on ticking and keep on going, you know. So I had to get bold and out of my comfort zone. You people don't understand. People say, I'm an introvert, I can't do this. Become an extrovert. I'm an ambivert, so I'm an introvert. So I don't like to, I'm sure you're seeing me here. If somebody was to ask you later, oh, is Yvonne an extrovert? You say, oh yes, Yvonne is an extrovert. I'm an ambivert introvert, meaning that I like to be in my house, do nothing, be quiet. But thankfully, because I'm an ambivert, I can turn up my extroverted thing. So I became bold. I would reach out to people to do things, people I didn't know. I would near stalk them. Honestly, I would near stalk them just to get things done. So after my events, you know, that I've been doing for a few years, people come and say, you this girl, you are well connected though, you know people, oh. I see, you brought this person, you did this. I said, I don't know them. I just met them. Today was the first time I met them at my event. And they're like, no, you're kidding. I said, I don't know them. But that was the power of being able to get out of my comfort zone, to be able to go out there and do things that, you know, even though I didn't have the opportunity and I didn't have the network and I didn't have the ability, I had to create all of those things. I had to learn how to write great emails that when I'll send an email on LinkedIn that you don't know me and I'm sending this cold email. You send 10 emails, out of the 10 emails, maybe 50% or 5 people might answer you in those emails. But you get better, you increase your skills for how you write those emails and how you reach out to people. Like Debo said, you know, when he was reaching out, you know, about the events, he didn't just reach out there, he positioned himself in a way to stand out from the rest. And that is what you do. I'll give you another example of getting out of your comfort zone. I had this friend, you know, very recently, she's starting out her business. She's doing things, and she's a pure introvert. She doesn't even like to like picture on LinkedIn. You know, those people that just like to go into LinkedIn, they won't even like anything. They won't even comment on LinkedIn, but they will get in there and just do nothing and just look. That's how bad her own was. And she now started this business as a thought leader in her area. I said, girl, you have to start posting on LinkedIn. Oh. You have to start commenting on LinkedIn. You have to start writing posts on LinkedIn. You have to do all of those things. Oh, she struggled. But like Debo said, it's always good to have somebody that keeps you accountable. Because I will turn up to her and say, have you done it? She'll say, yes, I'm working on it. I'm just managing the post. I'm just, you know, still developing it. I said, so when are you doing it? I remember the first day she did it. She posted like 3 posts. She posted 3 different posts on LinkedIn that day. I said, you can't post everything in one day now. You spread it out. So she was like, okay. But guess what? Do you know, out of starting to post on LinkedIn, within the month, within 2 weeks, actually within 1 week, let me say, but let me make everybody feel better. Within 2 weeks, she got 2 new opportunities. Somebody said, oh, you do this. Can you please come and speak at my organization on how to do this? Another person said, you do this. Can you please come and help us mentor this? They started asking about her services. Guess what? She had to be a light at the top of the hill. You cannot, if you're a lamp and you're covering the lamp, there's of no value. So that's what it means to get out of your comfort zone, be bold and be out there and do what it is that you need to do. Another thing, and I've alluded to it again, you need to be proactive, you need to be responsive, and you need to be adaptable to change. So remember, it's about being out there, taking that step, being proactive. I've mentioned that, but in response to the change, you need to be proactive and responsive. You see this thing is happening, you read about it. You know, I can sit down and have a conversation with people about AI. I am not a technology person. Because guess what? I needed to be responsive to the changes that were happening in my environment. So be able to talk about it, have a basic understanding of it. You know, I needed to be adaptable. I say, how do I tailor my services? How do I tailor what it is I do so that I can be in a position to be able to sell myself, to be in a position to be relevant, to be in a position where people like can say, oh, wow, I want the services that this person is offering. That's what it means to be. And then another thing that is that you need to do is that reinvent yourself by focusing on non-technical skills. So I spoke to you about, and if you go and do it, the World Economic Forum gives a lot of research to say, what are some of the things that are going to be changing? What are some of the things that are no longer going to be, what are some of the skills that are no longer going to be relevant? And what are some of the skills that are going to become relevant? And some of those things include data analytics. If you're a data analytics, that's going to be more important. But, you know, I mentioned again, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, creativity, leadership. Those are some of the things. So start to reinvent your skills. Don't focus only on the technical skills you have. The technical skills to you is just a baseline. It's just a foundation in terms of what it is you're doing. You need to start developing your attitude, your mindset, your non-technical skills, your soft skills, your interpersonal skills, how to use the internet, how to use social media, how to engage with people, how to use LinkedIn. Those are things that you need to start to develop, skills like that. And then another thing is that you need to be the change. Oh gosh. So if that's something I'm going to leave you with, is that you need to be the change. You need to be a change leader in your industry. Be a change leader in your industry. I have an online course where I teach people, and I go through it. It's a program in itself where people go through what it means to be a change leader. And what it means to be a change leader is developing some of all of these non-technical skills that I'm talking about. Because, you know, people say, I've heard this thing in the past, people say, I'm not a leader, or it's not my responsibility. Me, I'm just doing the work. But guess what? It's no longer like that. Because change is very fast paced, because organizations are consistently reinventing themselves, the speed of change and pace of change has increased significantly. So we no longer have the time where we can afford to wait to say, let me wait and do this. Let me wait and ask my Oga. Let me tell you what differentiated me when I was in Philips Consulting. LB is here, she was in the management team, so I'm sure she'll be able to attest to the things like, I was getting double promotions and being promoted. I was in Philips Consulting for 2 years, and I got promoted multiple times. And what was the difference is that I was proactive. I would see some things that I'm not waiting for them to come and assign jobs to me as a consultant. And I wasn't doing it intentionally, but I was just a change leader. I would see LB, maybe Francis, come from South Africa. Then people didn't know why they chose me to be on the Delta States project, you know. But I remember seeing him coming one time, and people said, that's Francis. Oh, yes, he's doing that Delta State project that we don't even know when it's going to be happening. And me, Delta State fascinated me because I'm from Delta State. So I remember just going to him at one point in time and saying, hey, I hear you doing, hi, my name is Yvonne, this, and this. So first of all, I didn't wait for somebody to say, come and introduce me to this Oga that has come from South Africa. Me, not knowing any culture, just walked up to him. Hey, Francis, I hear that you're working, my name is Yvonne. I hear that you're working on this project. This sounds interesting. If you ever need any help, if you want to work on the proposal, if you need to update it, by all means, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you with any of the groundwork it is that you're doing. So I was ready to do anything just to help him support his proposal. He looked at me. I remember him looking at me and saying, who is this person that just came to me? But guess what? He sent me one proposal one time. Look at this. Years later, not years later, but a year later, out of the blue, that project came to fruition. Who was the first person that they picked to be on that project? Me. They picked me to be on that project. And guess what? Some people were saying, what's so special about Yvonne that she has to be picked on that project? What did she do? Didn't she just come yesterday? Why is it that they're putting her on this project? You know, people will talk. But what was it? I was able to stand out and be bold. I was able to be a change leader, you know, and even promotions that time does not allow me to share with you, but there were promotions and opportunities even here in Canada. So not just even in Nigeria, but I remember being in Canada here, and I knew my organization was trying to be a leader in their industry. They were talking about some things I'd heard, you know, when they talk about their overall strategy, they were saying this is the direction we want to go. So in that element, I remember seeing a Gartner report about that same topic they were talking about. And I saw that Gartner is one of the leading research companies. They were doing free presentations to organizations about that thing. So I reached out to my ogas then, and I wasn't a manager then. I was just a project manager doing my thing. I said, oh, I see there's this report. We could invite these people to do this. Would you like me to set up a meeting and this? They said, yeah, sure, set up a meeting. But those were the kind of things that began to set me apart. I was leading the change in my industry. I was leading the change without title or position. You know, I was being a change catalyst. And I set it up, you know, not long after that, I got, not immediately, but during my tenure with that organization, less than a year, I would say, before you knew it, that and so many other things, I got from being a project manager, I got promoted to being a quality assurance manager, managing a team of over 20 people. Because you don't wait to get the position before you demonstrate yourself as a leader. You demonstrate yourself as a leader in order for people to identify you to be a leader in the position that they're thinking about. Because when people or the management or they sit around the table trying to say, should we promote Abiola? Should we promote Efun? Should we promote Chinyere? What they are going to be saying is that, does she demonstrate leadership abilities? They're not going to wait until you get the position to give you the opportunity to demonstrate you're a leader. You have to demonstrate that you're a leader in order for them to put you in that position of leadership. So I need you to start to think about, be a change leader. So if that's one thing I want to leave you with, be a change leader, be a catalyst, do what you have to do now to get to where it is that you want to be. That would be, you know, one of the final thoughts I, you know, have to do with you. Time does not permit, but, you know, I have free resources on my website about leading, being a leader, how you can be a change leader, even without title or position, or how you can lead in times of uncertainties. You can go to oliveblu.com. That's OLIVEBLU, one word, oliveblu.com/resources. Or if you just get to oliveblu.com, there's a tab there that says resources, and there are free downloads there that can help you ascertain your change leadership skills and become a change leader. So LB, I've more than taken time, so forgive me.
No problem at all. And it's just been amazing. You know, yeah. That's something that anybody who's worked with me knows, that we usually hire for skills and fire for attitude. And I'm so happy that right now, attitude is emotional intelligence, creativity, those things have now come into their own. It's no longer because somebody can do 1 + 1. It's now a lot more than that. I always tell people that when you are in an organization and you are doing what you have been asked to do, nobody's impressed. But if you're going over and above and beyond the call of duty, then, you know, sometimes, you know, in church, we sit down and somebody says, praise God, oh, you know, I've finally been promoted after 9 years on the same level. And people say, praise God. In my mind, I'm like, what were you doing on that same level? You weren't doing anything, you know? So yes, praise God, you know, but it wasn't anybody's fault. You were there, but your own. You know? It's really been interesting. I love the fact that everybody's been afraid of, you know, the future work. You know, everybody's really afraid because, you know, especially those of us who don't know physics and don't know maths, you know, you get the impression that those are the only people who are going to be able to cut it. But not that actually it's not what you know. It is who you are, you know. I went to a conference last year and they were saying there how the jobs that are going to be in 5-10 years time, they've not been created. And that more and more, don't encourage your children to go and be lawyer, doctor, all of those things, because like you said, AI is coming to take over all those jobs. And so now people really, really have to be creative. Everybody here is saying, what am I going to do with boldness? And this is all about attitude. This is all about your profile. You know, something you didn't mention, Yvonne, that I would have loved you to mention, to say how you can morph your profile. Yes, some of us are born. I mean, you did mention it, I guess, when you said that, look, you've got to become an extrovert to find a way. Some people feel that they're not born to be this or to do this or to do that, but
yes, you know what, there is, you know, about profile, and I don't know what aspect you mean, like profile as in how I position myself or how I have become who I am.
No, how you become who you know, like the DISC kind of profile. You know, there's some, I'm compliant, so I can't change quickly. I am this, so I can't do this. So, but
yeah, and you know what? And I think I alluded to it a little bit in the end when I say sometimes you have to get yourself out of the comfort zone to do what you need to do until you get into a place where you're comfortable doing what and who you are. Because sometimes they say, this is my purpose, this is what I'm meant to do. So you just want to stick to those little things. And I've learned to step out of my comfort zone, learn and do things as I need it. So I read a lot of books, you know, and to David's point, I kind of like my mentors are in books, you know. So if I'm having a solution now where I'm stuck, so if somebody now saying that, boldness, I need to get boldness, you know what you're going to do? Go read all the books on boldness. Go read all the books on how to be bold. And that's what I do. You know, if I'm facing something about how am I going to market this thing, I will go and look for all the thought leaders and experts that have written books on that topic. And I just soak myself in it, you know, because you're learning from people who have the skills. You might just pick up one thing that makes all of the difference, you know. I was scared of rejection. I just didn't even want to open that email to be rejected. You understand? I would just embrace rejection. I had to learn that rejection is not a reflection of me. So it made me much, much bolder to do things. I have to admit that I had boldness before that. Because, you know, I happened to grow up in a family where my dad, you know, encouraged my boldness, encouraged my outspokenness. So those things were comfortable for me. But when it came to like some type of setting, there was just something about not wanting to get no. I didn't like hearing no. So I just had to learn to accept that the word no wasn't a reflection of me. And the word no was just not for that opportunity and not for that time, you know. And it just made me learn to be able to go on to a different thing. So, and one thing I do is I do a lot of personality tests.
Yeah.
I'm a junkie when it comes to that. If I see some personality test, I will take the personality test because I believe in self-awareness. The beginning of any success, for you to be able to go far, you need to be able to be present. So there's a book that I've written. I didn't say that in my profile when I was talking about you. So I wrote a book on mindset. You know, I came to Nigeria, I launched the book, launched it in the UK, Canada, Nigeria. But I wrote a book on mindset. And in that book, you know, I talk about different things that really impact our mindset and that position us for success. And self-awareness is a really big thing. You have to be able to know yourself, to be able to propel yourself forward. There's this, there's no scripture, there's this quote about if you know yourself, if you know your enemies or you might win the war or win a few battles. But if you know yourself as much as your enemies, it sets you up a lot more for success. So, but self-awareness is very key because it enables you to know how to tailor yourself in different aspects. If you know that you're an introvert, then you know you have to work on being an extrovert. I know there are people there that say focus on your core skills and flourish there, but sometimes you don't have the opportunity to be able to do that. There's sometimes that at the beginning you have to be able to do what you need to do to get you to where you need to until you become in a position to say, oh, I don't like doing that thing, so I'm no longer going to do it. You know, okay, another thing that I forgot, you see that I told you that I took one job one time that I thought, why am I taking this job? It's not going to be relevant for me. You know, this. I want to just get that job that I went to university to study. Do you know, after 2 jobs after that, I got into a place where I was going in for an interview. That was my first highest ever paying job. I had to say to myself, I can earn this amount of pounds sterling in my life. LB, the reason why they gave me that job was because of that first job that I took that was nothing. They say, oh, we see you worked in an e-commerce firm, this, that. I said, because I didn't want to talk about that job because I thought it was irrelevant. But they kept on going back to that job. So I spoke about the job and said, when I saw that, they're talking about the job. So me too, I gingered myself to talk more about the job, you know. But LB, it was because of that job, I got my highest ever paying job.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So sometimes you just have to do what you need to do in the moment. You have to learn about yourself. You have to know your skills. And once you know what you're good at, the things that you're not good at, do I need to work on these things? Do I need to outsource it to get somebody to help me with it? Do I need to get a personal coach to help me with it? Do I need to, you know, pay somebody to help me do it? But you have to have awareness. Awareness is a key thing that you have to develop in order to know what your weaknesses are. Oh gosh, I'm just going on. I will encourage you, do a personal SWOT analysis. Yep. So we talk about SWOT analysis in the corporate area, but do a personal SWOT analysis. So in the personal SWOT analysis, you know your strengths. So you know how to amplify your strengths based on knowing your strengths. You identify what your weaknesses are so that you know how to manage your weaknesses. Then you identify what your opportunities are. So you know the opportunities that you need to pursue around you. So strengths and weaknesses are internal to you. You identify your strengths and weaknesses internally. Then your opportunities are external to you. What are the opportunities around me? How do I leverage my strengths in order to pursue the opportunities? And what are the threats around me? The economy is shrinking. Certain types of jobs are shrinking. Those are some of the threats. How do I manage, you know, these threats, like a risk mitigation plan? You know, maybe do some courses that are slightly different. LB, you've given me only 1 hour. I can't talk more.
You've done very well, and you know, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. You've told us your website. If we wanted to send you an email, if somebody wants to send you an email.
If you want to send me an email, same thing with the website address. So it's Yvonne@oliveblue.com. So OLIVEBLUE.com. So even on my website, you can join my mailing list as well and get free resources. So once you get any of the free resources, you can join my mailing list. But where I send regular newsletters, what's happening in the market, how to be a change leader. So it's Yvonne, YVONNE @oliveblue.com.
Okay, Yvonne, we have to sort of connect back.
Yes.
Not just once in a while I come and I say, oh yeah, come and speak. Snowed under with all kinds of things. You're like, this LB now. Okay, let's just come and
LB,
speak.
it's you. I don't have a choice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can I speak, please?
Sorry?
Somebody
Can I speak, please? I just want to make a comment. I don't know how to type in messages, but I had come across Yvonne's book at Terra Culture, and I wanted to get it, but at that time I just didn't have the resources. I was focusing on other things. Anyway, Lamide, this is just wonderful, wonderful. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
That's one of my sisters. She just had to say her piece.
Thank you. Yes, the book is at Terra Culture as well. So it's on Amazon. It's available on Amazon worldwide. So you can buy it from any Amazon site worldwide, and you can get it at Terra Culture. And I think there's another Ikeja bookshop it's at. I don't remember, but it's also in Abuja. At the Napo bookshop in Abuja. They have it at the Napo bookshop in Abuja as well.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yvonne.
You're welcome.
Keep in touch.
Yes.
Thank you.